So I think he truly loves Auburn. And, that doesn't win football games, but
Right.
it's cool if you win football games and your coach also loves your university. So, and I think he's going to get both of those. He's got one of those. He loves Auburn. We're going to start winning. So, yeah, I'm going, it's a feel good story.
It is a feel good story, but the reality is when you care about something, you tend to put your maximum effort into
You
it.
put your max effort in. That's 100% right. You don't want to lose it. If you love it, you don't want to lose it. So he's going to give it everything he's got.
So when you talk about Auburn and SEC media days, specific notes, we are talking about mainly our representatives, and that's going to be obviously head coach Hugh Freeze, who obviously has to come as the head coach. For those of you that weren't aware, your other three representatives, you usually have three every year, and they're typically upperclassmen. Some of them were there. Peyton Thorne, starting quarterback, is one of your representatives this year. Then Eugene Asante, linebacker, heart and soul of the team, maybe, with going, let's work, all that good stuff, energy guy. And then Keldrick Falk, a sophomore, is your third representative and second on the defense at Auburn and SEC Media Day. So before we dive into what Coach Hugh Freeze said, because I know that's what we mainly want to discuss here, your thoughts on that group, especially the Falk angle, like having a sophomore there. That's very rare, if at all, I believe.
Yeah, that kind of surprised me, and I didn't know much about him. I think Freeze went on, you may know the verbiage, but he went on to say he's one of the hardest working guys on the team. I think definitely on the defensive side. I didn't get a lot out of the team players. They basically kind of give the answer you expect. Freeze talked a little bit about his offense. I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
He talked about calling plays. I mean, it sounds like it's going to be a mix of three people, I guess. And when it tough situations, Freeze will call. What are your thoughts on that? I wanted to kind of ask somebody else. When I read it, I was like, I was more confused than before I read it.
Yeah, I think this is a bigger talking point than it needs to be honest with you. But I understand why it needs to be addressed because you're bringing in Derek Nix, who is, I believe he has offensive coordinator experience, but not a lot at this, and especially at this level. But he's been a co-offensive coordinator. He's been around for a while, right? He's not a
Yep.
newbie at this, but you are handing over the reins to somebody that's maybe fresh as an SEC offensive coordinator, and you've got an offensive coordinator for a head coach, and this is his team. So a lot of people assume, hey, Hugh Freeze is going to run the offense. That's not necessarily the case. What Jared was referring to is his breakdown of how it would happen is that Derek Nix is the play caller. But on third and longs, quarterback coach Kent Austin is going to be heavily involved in that decision-making process with Derek. And the way I took away, Jared, that he described his part in this is as the overseer / veto, which makes sense, right? You're the head coach. You should be able to veto. This isn't something that's like foreign. So to me, I thought it made a lot of sense. Like I never thought of the quarterback coach getting to have a say in third and longs. But when you think about it, we're obviously going to be throwing the ball unless we're fighting for field position at some point. Does that not make sense to you? Or, I mean, did you find that as a novelty with Ken Austin being
No,
involved?
no. I think something I found with Freeze is that Freeze, and some people would say not with his past. I think he's just an honest guy, and I think he just tells you too much sometimes. I think this is standard protocol. I think
Yeah.
you got three guys on the headset all the time, and the head, Kirby's like, no, we're not doing that on third. And you know what I'm saying? So I think
Right.
Freeze is just telling you more than we probably even need to know. And sometimes you're like, huh? Is that normal? I
Yeah.
think it is normal. I think you're right.
And I tell this to people all the time. If you will just listen to the head coaches, especially Hugh Freeze, but from what I've learned about him, you're going to have a lot of your questions answered. Look, it's not a debate I want to open up right now because he answered it yet again in how he was talking about Peyton Thorne's your starting quarterback, whether you like it or
Oh
not,
yeah,
folks. Get over it. I don't care if you don't
yeah.
like it.
Oh
Get
yeah, it's
over it.
Thorn.
It's
It's
Thorne.
Thorn.
So listen to what they're saying because Hugh Freeze, like you said, is maybe giving us a little bit more than he should at times. But it's interesting to note that. Here's something that I thought was very intriguing / confirmation of rumors from last year's staff during his press conference. And this is a direct quote from him. Players sense a chemistry amongst the staff. So it's one thing for there to be good chemistry amongst the staff, and they all acknowledge it. They all can feel, they understand it. But he says players sense a chemistry amongst the staff. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even hear that statement until you just said it. So I think that's huge. I think you got to have everybody pulling in the same direction,
Mm-hmm.
and it was not last year. That was obvious. So that's key, man. Because if the players don't sense it, they may not tell you this, but they're not giving 100% effort because they don't even believe you don't believe in it, so they're not going to believe in it. So yeah, having the coaches being seeing the players seeing that, I just think and we forget about this. Last year, forgive me if correct me if I'm wrong, but like Thorne came in after spring practice last year,
After summer workouts.
after summer workouts. Freeze got in here late, hires a new coordinator. It was a get through
Yep.
year. Get through this. We don't want to talk about it. We're fans. We all pay a lot of money, but it was a get through year. This is a year where we do need to see a little proof of concept, and I think we will.
Absolutely. He talked a lot about different topics and different players. One thing I think that I really liked, and he was prompted on during his press conference, was talking about Damari Alston. Because look, Jarquez Hunter is a starting quarterback. I mean, quarterback. Well, no, starting running back.
Who knows?
And should
Maybe
be.
you're on to something.
Yeah, I hope not. No offense to Mari. No offense to Mari.
Yeah.
But I like you running the ball, not throwing the ball. But halfback passes have worked, so
there you go.
Damari, he talked a lot about him being a vocal leader. Now, sometimes I think people will overdo things, and when they start hearing coaches use that type of verbiage, they're like, well, that just means he's not as involved on the field. But no, this is a guy that plays the backup to Jarquez. And why do I say backup? And for those that are listening to the audio podcast, I'm doing air quotes. Yes, in the hierarchy of things, there is a starter, there is a person that is the second to come in after him. But Damari has sometimes been in with him if they run a 2-back set. And so this guy is a legitimate threat and the heir apparent to the running back spot once Jarquez leaves. But what's interesting is the dynamic between the two of them that Coach Freeze described, where Jarquez is the just put his head down, go to work every day type of person. And Damari is too, but Damari has taken on that vocal leader type of thing. So I think, Jared, we just got a preview of who's going to be your representative for next year at SEC Media Days from the offense, because you're going to have a new quarterback in theory. I would expect this to be Thorne's last year. So what do you think? Damari Alston representing us next year, from what I can tell from Coach Hugh Freeze.
Real quick, if I may, I can never see air quotes and not think of Joey on Friends. If you ever saw that, that's where he misused them all the time. Yeah.
I'll just start saying, quarterback. Good
for
podcast host.
For those that can't see, Kyle is using it correctly the first time. But yes, I think Damari Alston. The thing about him, to me, I think Jarquez. His best game is our best running back, but Damari probably reads the hole better than anybody. I mean, he's more patient. Now, Quez has gotten that way as well recently. But, yeah, Damari's a legit player. That is not one of those statements of he's saying that just to make him feel a part of the team. He's a vocal leader that is going to have a big playing role, like you were saying. So, and he might be the speaker. He might be representative for us next year. I don't know. Hey, listen. From day one, that kid has been all Auburn. He was when he committed. Ever since then, he's talking about, look out, we got players coming, big eyeballs on Twitter. He's all Auburn, man. So he'd be a good one to be pushing your campaign.
Yeah, I think we're probably watching the budding of Auburn's next great leader, and he already is. That coaches acknowledge that, but the one once the torch is passed officially to him, because some of these upperclassmen move off, whether that's to the NFL, to other transfer portal opportunities, or just graduating. We may be watching that. There's so many things that we could talk about here, but I think something maybe to round us really well here is, I don't have the full quote to be fair, but Coach Hugh Freeze talked towards the end of his press conference about having the feeling of, I get to coach at Auburn. And that resonated with a lot of people. And what do I mean by that? And what was he talking about? He was talking about how honored he feels to be the head coach at Auburn. And some people will juxtapose that with how they felt other recent people felt, or maybe showed how they felt to be at Auburn and stuff like that. But there was a lot of people that resonated with how, not emotional, but very forward and very honest what he was about how he feels about his place at Auburn right now. So that do anything for you, or is that just, another little feel goodism? What do you think?
No, I mean, I think here's the deal. People that love what they're doing, like, that means they're going to put their all into it. And, we've had coaches that maybe didn't do that. I think Freeze really is, you can call it second chance, but also at a really good university that I think he's always had an affection for because he's friends with Gus. So he knows Auburn. So I think he truly loves Auburn. And, that doesn't win football games, but It's cool if you win football games and your coach also loves your university. So, and I think he's going to get both of those. He's got one of those. He loves Auburn. We're going to start winning. So, yeah, I'm going, it's a feel-good story.
It is a feel-good story, but the reality is when you care about something, you tend to put your maximum effort into it.
You put your max effort in. That's 100% right. You don't want to lose it. If you love it, you don't want to lose it. So he's going to give it everything he's got.
Exactly. So if all it is a feel-good thing right now, I'll take it because that's a great starting place, especially from where we've been over the last couple of seasons here. All right, final note here, just about roster and stuff like that. Coach did express through a variety of interviews that he felt like the roster was complete. Probably no more surprises, additions to the roster. But what I found most interesting, and this is the things that I was listening for, Jared, how does he feel about certain position groups? And he expressed that he felt that our depth at the defensive line, especially interior, was really solid. Now, what he was forward about, and this has been some people's concern, people were concerned about depth, but also the skill level there. And he said, look, I don't know where they're at in terms of competing with the SEC as a unit. But in terms of my concerns about depth, them being able to go out there and put a good product out on the field, I'm obviously kind of putting my own words into what he was saying, but that's what he expressed some optimism about. And also about the running back room, he talked about how much and the offensive line as well, how encouraged he was by that. So that's some areas of concern for Auburn fans that I don't want to sit here with our orange and blue glasses on and act like everything's hunky-dory, but I feel like that's got to encourage you if you're an Auburn fan.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the two biggest question marks are defensive line, especially the interior unit there, and quarterback play. And I mean, let's be honest. Very easily could have beaten Alabama. Very easily could have beaten Georgia. You got the New Mexico State debacle. That's an 8-win ball. That's an 8-win ball club. What we had last year. If these guys improve from last year, your schedule is actually a little easier. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to. I'm feeling optimistic right now. We'll probably go out there game one, and you have to be counseling me in our little chat, Kyle. But right now I'm feeling good. That sounds good that we have the bodies to compete. At that point, they got to go out there and just compete, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, what I'm hearing, just to kind of round out our thoughts, is a program, whether we're talking about roster, chemistry, outlook, that's in definitely a more solid place than it was when Hugh Freeze arrived. Hugh Freeze knew when he walked in the door, there was a lot of work to be done. But I think from some of his commentary, he got there a few weeks after that and was like, oh boy.
Big turnaround.
This is going to be rough for a little bit. So
yeah,
this sounds like you can be encouraged. And this sounds like an SEC Media Days I walk away from being cautiously optimistic about where Auburn football is heading. So a lot to be excited about from that. That's going to do it